As the Allies advanced, the retreating Erusian forces from the east filled our town. The AA gun crew set up their positions atop the hospital, and Yellow 13 smoldered with quiet anger over their tactics. Nights were long, with the town's mandatory blackouts. The barkeep's daughter tried to plant laser transmitters for detonating explosives. She got caught. It was Yellow 13. He knew she was responsible for planting the bomb on their runway as well. The face of the enemy whom he hated belonged to someone close to him. "Get out of our town, you fascist pig." Those were the words from my mouth. I've never seen his face twist so painfully. "Do you hate us that much?" We couldn't shake or nod our heads in reply. It seemed like an eternity passed before he said go and released us. The next day, there was no change in his attitude. As usual, he made his requests to the squadron crew chief. The poor fuel quality is affecting thrust. As soon as the Allied forces drew near, the resistance would end the blackouts over the city.
Salvacion was a neutral city at the start of the war until the Erusians occupied it. We will now liberate this city. The heaviest resistance will come from the tank battalion near Route 7 in Old Town, and the anti-tank helicopters near the new city government complex. In addition, you must defend our allies from any airstrikes that may originate from the airport behind you. The resistance fighters will end the blackout over the city. Suppress all enemy resistance and help liberate the city.
Jesus, this game is just loaded with these big battle missions, isn't it?
You know, it's one of those things I really appreciate about this game in particular. Just super heavy pitched battles against everything ever.
Yeah, like, I will give, like, a 04 or this, like, the game really does feel like it is a goddamn war.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Hello, by the way. I'm Pythonicus.
Yep, Pythonicus is joining me for this mission. One of his, actually, favorite missions in the game, as we were sort of just discussing over the course of the, like, the run-up to recording the commentary for it.
Yeah, no, Emancipation is great. It's a very atmospheric level.
Mobius 1, Sky Eye here. The Resistance just ended the blackout. Commence operations.
This is probably like the mission that's got me so stoked for Ace Combat 7 is because like one of the things they specifically announced for 7 is the fact that like the guy that they got to write the radio scripts and everything for 04 is back for 7.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been keeping myself intentionally distant from most of the Ace Combat 7 release details. It's just... I got burnt a couple of times buying into hype, so I just kind of tend to stay away from most of that, if I can. So yeah.
Well... To be fair, like, 7 has a fairly low bar to clear. It's basically don't be Assault Horizon, and it should be good.
Oh, man. We rented Assault Horizon at one point. I played probably, one mission and decided, yeah, no, this isn't something I want to continue playing.
Yeah, that was about like, I think I made it to, like, mission 3. Like, the mission with the Apache, like, that was where it crossed the line with me. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I'm done with this bullshit.
I saw a dogfighting mode and like, what the fuck is this?
Missed.
I mean, it looks pretty. It's a very pretty game, but it's just not what I've come to expect out of Ace Combat.
It's like, yeah, like, even if they just pull, like, another Ace Combat 6 out of the bag, like, I'll settle for that at this point.
So, I forgot about that. Emancipation's where you really start laying into the yellow squad.
Yeah, basically, like, yeah, like, after Stonehenge happens and after Yellow 4 goes down, like, the Yellows just basically become this, like, easily toolable goon squad, really.
Missed.
Oh yeah, those radio reports. Oh.
Obvious one.
Like I said, it's just so atmospheric. You can't help but appreciate it. Even if,
and, like,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead, sorry.
Like, even if it does end up coming off a bit Ken Burnsy, it's still just fantastic.
Yeah, like, I was just gonna mention, like, something like that, too. Like, it does really have that, like, sort of, like, you know, embedded war correspondent type feel about, like, you know, like, when they were, like, live reporting the invasion of Iraq, which, funnily enough, like, this game was, like, preceded by, like, 2.5 years. But it was, like, yeah, like, you know, like, yeah, live reporting from the middle of the battle, like, the transmission cuts out, and then, like, a couple seconds later, like, you know, the guy will come back on the air. It's like, oh, yeah, no, we just had to, like, literally outrun a tank that was coming at us, and, like... It's like, I keep expecting, like, fucking Anderson Cooper to come on the radio.
Yeah, close enough. And another thing I just love about this mission is that the buildings, you can barely see them except for the lights. I mean, some might say that's a downside and, you know, a huge crash hazard, but, you know, get good.
Yeah.
Neutralize those choppers, HQ. Enemy vehicle destroyed.
And plus, like, you've also got to remember, like, even from, like, the storyline perspective, that, like, you know, this has basically been a city that the Erusians have more or less strangled in terms of, like, resources and whatnot, so, yeah, like, of course, like, the thing would be, like, just almost in complete darkness still, even with the power restored.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, he's still there. Watch out.
And it covers such a huge area, too. I don't know which map is bigger, this one or the beach landing from a few missions back.
Probably San Salvacion, like I know, like, the beach, like, there's a lot of, like, sea between, like, the actual, like, beach landing zone and, like, the return line that you gotta cross to resupply, but, like, the actual beach is, like, a fairly, like, you know, you can really get from, like, one beach to the other in a decent amount of time if you have a fast enough plane, but, yeah, Christ, like, the San Salvacion map is just gigantic.
Yeah. My most recent playthrough of this game, I was taking an A10 through all the missions that I could, and that thing does not cross distance very well, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah. Like, even in the F-22, this map takes a long while to get across.
Oh, yeah. Of course, you gotta preen for your action shots over here.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually kind of a funny thing. For as much as I played Ace Combat and 4 especially, I never actually knew that you could hold the lock-on button and it would actually follow your target. I did not know that up until, like, you started up this whole series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no. So you have taught us, well, I say series veteran, but really the only one I'm intimately familiar with is this one. But you taught something to someone who thought he knew everything.
Nice. Did you know about the missile cam too?
No, actually, that was another thing that I realized through here. I didn't do much holding of buttons. I was very much a fire and forget kind of player.
Yeah. Like, I was vaguely aware of, like, the missile cam, like, but it was, like, really over the course of this LP, just, like, experimenting with stuff that I, like, actually figured out how to use it. And, like, it's really interesting, too, because, like, you still have complete control over the plane while you're in missile view, so, like, you've got to make sure, like, you don't crash into anything as you're just watching the missiles go to their targets.
Yeah, you know, there's a reason why cool guys don't look at explosions.
No.
Halo 9, Fox 2! Fox 2!
And I also appreciate the fact that there's just literal columns of tanks lining the highways. Like, you are actually just breaking the back of the Erusian defense on this line.
AA guns destroyed!
Like, I love the way that you can, like, sort of pick out, like, details from, like, the story cutscenes, too, in, like the layout of the city and, the buildings and whatnot. It's like, yeah, this is the mission where, like, both halves of the narrative finally come together completely.
Yeah.
And it's like...
When I was a kid, I never really fully appreciated that. Like, I was too dumb to connect. Oh, hey, San Salvacion. Yeah, that's the place where that narrator kid's from. I never quite connected it until, like, after the mission ended and the next cutscene plays, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, like, it's quite really well disguised, like, in the narrative itself. Like, it's... I don't think, like, San Sebastian is ever really named until this mission. And then, yeah, like, you know, there's the build-up about, like in the cutscenes leading up, like, oh, like, they say a couple of times, like, the Allies are coming to our town and whatnot, and then, like, it just really kind of comes out of nowhere, and then once, like, once this mission happens and the ending cutscene plays, it's like, then you realize, oh shit, that's where this whole thing has been happening now. Wow.
Yeah.
The arch has been secured!
Also, I'm probably gonna get shit from so many people in the thread that I didn't actually fly under the arch there.
Shame. For shame.
And also, yeah, we were sort of talking again, like, in the run-up to actually starting the commentary about, like, how this mission sort of goes spectacularly off the rails for me in the back half, and you can, if you check the ammo counter, you can sort of see where that is starting to come about.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, on the plus side, I haven't seen you miss a bomb yet.
Of course, because there's, like, frickin' enemies everywhere here.
Right in the center. Check 6.
See that? Also, before I went... Wow. I went from one thing to a completely different thing in my mind, and I just about went off on a huge tangent for no reason. Anyway, what I was going to say is that I agree with Mr. Sulu. Drop a bomb right in the middle.
160s are inbound to New City from the northwest. Drive them back immediately.
Also, because, yeah, like, I went for the bombs for this mission because I forgot that this second part actually happened, so here I am, just basically caught with my proverbial dick hanging out. No missiles, nothing but bombs, and, like, I think, like, 6 or 8, like critical target bomber craft that just come screaming right into the city, and good god, these things are actually fast for, like, you know, Russian bombers, basically.
You know, I thought you would have learned your lesson with Shattered Skies. Because didn't this exact same situation happen?
Yeah, like, yeah, pretty much the exact same situation happened with the bombers in Shattered Skies, but I figured, well, hell, I've got like 800 gun-ish bullets left, you know. You know, the B2s were slow as shit. I can take these things out with guns, and no, you can't. Like, again, if I was in the F-22 doing this, like, even with guns, these things would be just down in a heartbeat, but it's like, yeah, no, like, I had to go try and relive Ace Combat Zero and bring out the F-15 again, and it bit me right in the ass, something fierce.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's like,
with those 5 bombs, you probably could have saved, what, 10, 12 missiles? Maybe more?
And, like, I could have been, like, across the return line and back by the time these things had even come into the center of the airspace, and it's like, okay, yeah, here we go, and...
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah. It's just not happening.
That was an ISAP tank which just passed by us.
And this was the moment you realized you truly had fucked up.
Yep. So, alright, fuck this, let's get some actual missiles.
Mobius 1.
Man,
Mobius 1.
I never
you are
skipped the
cleared.
takeoff or the landing.
Yeah, well, it was like pushing midnight by the time I'd recorded this. I'd gone through like about a 3-hour recording session. This was coming near the tail end of it.
I see.
And, yeah, I was just frustrated that I'd done this to myself twice in one night, so by this point I was just done.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Locked on.
It's fine. Everything's fine now.
Yeah.
Now we will rain hellfire down upon our enemies.
Yeah, also the good part about this, like, basically, like, ending part of the mission is, like, these bombers don't actually destroy anything. They just literally just fly around in a circle, and you've got, like, 10 minutes to take them out.
Yeah. Also, that first bomber you shot down with your long-range missile, that thing was like 8,000 units away by the time that missile reached. That's incredible. I wish
Yeah, it's like-
I wish I had a definite scale of what that number actually means, because then I wouldn't feel like such a nerd for saying units.
I'm pretty sure, like, it's the distance calculations are like feet, basically, and the, like, speed calculation are like nautical miles. Like, yeah, you can actually go into, like, the options menu and, like, actually flip between, like, imperial and metric too. So,
Ah, I see.
but I think it's defaulted out on imperial. But it's like, the numbers are, like, really meaningless unless you, like, actually have to, like, you know, judge your altitude and speed, like, as you're flying through stuff.
Yeah, no, the only number I really remember was about 850, and that's about the point where your missiles lock on.
The Erusian officer in charge of censoring broadcasts has
Yeah, like,
evacuated
you
as well.
you want to talk about insane missile lock-ons, like, I'm gonna have to show this off in the bonus video, like, for the Su-35, the QAAMs, like, those things are the definition of fire and forget.
The city has been liberated. The victory was not only a strategic one, but a symbolic one as well. Though it is still dark outside, cheering can be heard throughout the city.
Yeah, basically, from this point forward, now that we've taken San Salvacion, Erusia is fucked.
Get bent.
Singing. The town was free at last. During the night raids, the AA gunners had strafed the town in an attempt to shoot down low-flying aircraft. The town militia now rounded up these gunners. They retreated as well, and now their quarters stood empty. After what seemed like a long absence, Allied aircraft soared overhead. I wondered if the fateful enemy ace, the one that Yellow 13 longed to meet, is among them. What would happen if they ever came face to face? I fell in with the routed Erusians and followed after the squadron.